when you get to know me, I'm a coyote in a field of wolves. Yes, I'm a little crazy, but the world's insane. That's kind of my theme for today. For those of you that are watching over Apple or listening over Apple and Spotify and you can't see me, I'm dressed up as Black Morgan Wallen today. I got my flannel shirt on. I got my hair hanging out the back of my head. I got my mustache going. I'm Morgan Wallen. And the reason I am is Morgan Wallen's got a song called I'm a Little Crazy. And it describes me to a T. Because I'm a little crazy, but the world is absolutely insane. And I'm going to walk you through, like, all the craziness going on in the sports world, and it explains why I'm crazy. And it also explains why Caitlin Clark is crazy. And so let me get into this. Let me try to unpack this. That I am sitting here right now at 10 a.m. Central Time in more anticipation of Caitlin Clark versus Tiffany Hayes than I am Victor Wembanyama versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And so all this morning, I just kept thinking about myself as Morgan Wallen and Caitlin Clark, and we're walking out for a concert together. And it said, I'm a little crazy, and it describes me, and I think it describes Caitlin Clark, because there's no one on the planet who knew me in 1985, 1995, 2005, 2015, or 2025. Jason Whitlock would wake up and there would be a regular season late night WNBA game featuring Caitlin Clark and some woman that Jason had never heard of until last week, Tiffany Hayes. And I would be sitting around like, oh, man, it's going to be a late night. I'm going to be at 9 o'clock tip. Caitlin Clark versus Tiffany Hayes. Indiana Fever versus the Golden Valkyrie. My whole day. Do I have popcorn? Do I have snacks? Do I have, my Diet Cokes? Am I all set? WNBA game late night. And I'm more on edge about that and spend more time thinking about that than Western Conference Finals Game 6, Victor Wembanyama versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Defensive Player of the Year versus the MVP of the league, the up-and-coming 7'5" freak superstar of the NBA versus the two-time reigning MVP. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. And I can't believe how crazy I am. I can't believe this getup, this outfit. I'm a country music fan. I know more Morgan Wallen songs at this point than I do 50 Cent or who's the most popular rapper now? Future? Is Future still alive? Didn't one of those guys die? Oh, who died? Takeoff, yeah. I don't even know who Future and Takeoff are, but I know virtually everything about Morgan Wallen. The world is upside down. I'm crazy. But the sports world is crazier. And I say that because are you paying attention to yesterday, Pat McAfee hosted some sort of State of the Sports Union because he did this because the Knicks swept through the Eastern Conference Finals and there's nothing on ESPN TV. So he got the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, the WNBA, Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball. Is Gary Bettman still the commissioner of the NHL? And Dana White. He got all the commissioners, Roger Goodell. And then he got a bunch of athletes, and they held some state of the sports deal where Adam Silver had the audacity with this NBA finals that we're watching. You want to know why I'm crazy and why my whole night, sports viewing night, is set up around Caitlin Clark and Tiffany Hayes and some feud they got going on? It's because the commissioner of the NBA is in total denial that there's a flopping problem in the NBA and the whole league is soft and it undermines the credibility of the league. And we're tired of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander falling to the floor every time the wind blows. And Adam Silver's oblivious to it all. Play the clip.
How about the flopping? Flopping. Big conversation, Mr. Commissioner.
So, it's been a conversation. I would only say that there's a difference between selling a call, exaggeration, and a true flop, which is where you're actually fooling the referees. I think sometimes, even as I sit in the stands at games, players may be falling down, players may be reacting to a call, but then to me, if they're not fooling the referees, it's like, okay, that's like the players are taught to sell calls these days. I mean, can officiating get bad? Can officiating get better? Of course. We're always working on that. Can officials get fooled occasionally? We're always looking at that as well. But the officiating is incredible.
The officiating is incredible. No, it's not. Did you not watch Game 5? Did you not watch Tony Brothers and that DEI crew make a complete mess of that Game 5? Wouldn't give Mitch Johnson a timeout, blew an obvious goaltending call, Tony Brothers sitting there laughing with the OKC players, the fouls that were called when there was no contact at all. You wonder why I'm crazy. You wonder why I'm sitting around thinking about Caitlin Clark and Tiffany Hayes. Does anybody know who Tiffany Hayes is? I mean, I really don't. I watched the game last week where they got into their little dispute and back and forth. Caitlin Clark talking some trash after hitting that logo 3. And now Tiffany Hayes turns to social media and starts co-signing people that are talking about putting hands on Caitlin Clark. I'm more excited about that. 2 women potentially fighting in a WNBA game. This feels like a Super Bowl to me tonight, and I'll be up eating popcorn and drinking Diet Coke, watching Caitlin Clark and some woman I had never heard of until last week. And now that feels like Hagler Hearns. Now that feels like Sugar Ray versus Marvin Hagler. Ali versus Frazier. Caitlin Clark versus Tiffany Hayes. I'm nuts. But you can't convince me the sports world isn't crazier. Last night on that Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee talked Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, that they want to take this league overseas. Cathy Engelbert sitting on TV like she's running some super successful league, and now, hey, let's take this thing overseas. You haven't conquered America yet, and you're trying to go overseas with the WNBA like you're the NFL? Listen to Cathy Engelbert.
Data we're looking at our fan bases in whether it's Australia or Asia or Europe. Even in the UK, we have a lot of WNBA fans in the UK. So obviously in France and Belgium and over, I think about 30% of our players now are born outside the United States, and they're coming from these countries that crave basketball, crave now women's basketball. So we're definitely going to be bringing the WNBA globally for whether it's preseason games or regular season games longer term.
You wonder why I'm crazy. Do you know what I did last night? I watched the Atlanta Dream take on the Minnesota Lynx. I watched Angel Reese go 3 of 8 from the field. I watched the Minnesota Lynx beat the brakes off the Atlanta Dream last night. WNBA action. And I watched it because I wanted to see Angel Reese play poorly, and I wanted to see Olivia Miles, this rookie point guard, play well, and those things happen. And I gotta give the Atlanta Dream some credit. They're no longer playing the Angel Reese double-double game. She had 8 rebounds last night. They didn't stick her out there in garbage time so she could pad her stats and get the double-double. That's how unimportant the whole double-double thing was and is. When they were trying to build up Angel Reese into this big superstar to rival Caitlin Clark, we pretended like the double-double was the greatest thing in the history of basketball, and Angel Reese doing everything in her power to reach 10 points to go along with her 10 or 12 or 15 rebounds so she could keep this double-double streak alive. Well, guess what? Who leads the WNBA in double-doubles this year now that the Atlanta Dreams aren't allowing Angel Reese to pad her stats? Have you ever heard of a woman, I believe her name's Anissa Morrow? She played at LSU for Kim Mulkey. She leads the league in double-doubles this year. The Connecticut Sun are like 1-7, 1-6, 1-8. They're the worst team in the WNBA. Getting a double-double doesn't matter. Anissa Morrow doesn't matter. The Connecticut Sun don't matter. What matters is I'm addicted to a league that women wear horses' manes on their head and run around and play basketball. What league was like, hey, man, we're going to play some hoop. Let me tie a horse's mane to the top of my head and have it run down past my butt. Are you looking? Look at that picture. For those of you that are on Apple or Spotify and can't look at this, I feel sorry for you. This is a black woman whose hair or weave, this unbeweavable weave, is extending down to the middle of her thighs, and she's playing basketball. And you think I'm crazy? I am crazy. But that's insane. I'm watching an insane person play basketball, and she's accomplishing things that Angel Reese was celebrated for, but no one knows who Anissa Morrow is. But maybe they can't recognize her or spot her underneath all that horse's hair. This is unbelievable. The whole thing, where I'm at, yes, I am crazy. But you can't convince me this sports world isn't insane. Did you not see? Let me see if I can. Draymond Green. This isn't a clip. Yeah, Draymond Green over social media threatened a woman. Watch your mouth before I crush those dirty ass kids in your banner. Draymond Green, the guy that's being transitioned into a broadcasting talent by ESPN and inside the NBA. He's some voice, some respected voice. He's the next Charles Barkley. And yes, I know Charles Barkley did some stupid things while he was in the NBA. But Draymond Green is some sort of broadcasting talent that we're all supposed to think is the next big thing. The guy's a bona fide idiot. You're wondering why I'm crazy? I'm covering a sports world that has gone completely insane. Did you catch Kendrick Perkins at an AAU game? Let's play the clip of Kendrick Perkins, who coaches an AAU team or leads an AAU team. Oh, he bowled his back up and damn near got in a fight at an AAU tournament. Play the clip. That's Kendrick Perkins. We can cut it off. That's Kendrick Perkins auditioning for a Black Fatigue video. That he's right on the verge of co-starring or starring in a Black Fatigue video. He's a NBA broadcaster on ESPN. He's got one of the highest platforms in sports in the NBA, talking about the NBA, and he's damn near starred in a Black Fatigue video. And then went on television to defend it. Play the clip.
No, so let me give you the details real quick. It's my organization, right? Young Perkins Global. and we're in a tournament. It's a heated game, 17U. They're going back and forth, whatever. We end up winning the game. All right, cool. Well, the other team, they had this guy that's like 7 foot, 400 pounds.
Jeez.
After the game, he comes and he body slams one of my kids that play for my team. So I stay seated, then I get up because everybody running around, the players, they about to fight. So as a responsible, owner of the organization, I get up and I'm like, hey man, y'all need to chill, X, Y, Z. I'm grabbing my players. I tell the coach of the other team, I'm like, hey bro, get your players, I got mine. He pop off. And I ain't getting nothing. Who the hell are you? I'm like, bro, just get your players so I can get mine. We get up out of here. He said it. He got smart with me again. That's when I got pissed off.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm like, bro, who the hell are you talking to? Man, I'm talking to you. So then all of a sudden, boo, 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 boo. Now, what people didn't see was after that, we had a little exchange. Yeah, they held us back or whatever. Held him back, held me back. And then afterwards, we dabbed up. He said, my bad. I said, my bad. And we kept it moving.
Y'all think I'm crazy. The man damn near co-starred in a Black Fatigue video, went on ESPN on the McAfee show to defend it and explain it. And somehow he thinks he's making sense here. And I'm not one of these people that have it in for Big Perk. Perk is well-intentioned. And a lot of his NBA insight is pretty good because he does watch the league. But this is crazy. This is crazy. There's a higher road. And when you're an owner, when you're an elder, when you're the adult in the room, you have to be the adult in the room. You can't go on national TV. This is the equivalent of, remember when Juwan Howard took a swing at a Wisconsin assistant coach and went to the press conference and acted as if he did nothing wrong and looked at everybody like, hey, what's the problem? I'm the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines basketball program, and in the handshake line, I just took a swing at assistant coach. What do you mean? He got mouthy. Where I'm from. Remember that? And y'all think I'm crazy. But the sports world is completely insane. You wonder why I'm sitting around like, hey, let me get my Caitlin Clark fix tonight. You wonder why? It's what else? It's the most sane thing going on in sports. Caitlin Clark versus Tiffany Hayes, a woman I don't know. Tiffany Hayes, this potential brawl, this potential dust-up is the most sane thing going on in sports. Let me end with a preview of this one because I'll probably just preview it here and then we'll get back into it with Steve Kim, Dre, and Skap after I fix my WNBA Jones. But Stephen A. Smith just recorded a response yesterday, or released a response yesterday to Kevin Hart, the comedian. He had his roast. And during his roast, he said the Mount Rushmore of people that hate black people. And he put Stephen A. Smith on the list. And Stephen A. Smith is wounded and damn near wants to die. And I'm going to defend Stephen A. Smith on this program, and I'm going to defend him quite passionately. Now, I'll take a few shots, but I got to defend him. Kevin Hart is out of pocket and out of line here. That's how crazy things are. I'm going to spend time on this show defending Stephen A. Smith. But before I do that, I'm going to have a little As the WNBA Turns with Maurice and Jon. Before I do, play that As the WNBA Turns intro right now, and we'll go straight into Maurice and Jon, and then we'll take a little break and get Steve and Skap and Dre in here. But I got to calm myself and satisfy myself with a little WNBA talk first. So play the intro.
As the WNBA turns, starring Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson. Brought to you by George Soros, Adam Silver, Cathy Engelbert, and the Global Elite.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Am I crazy for being... I don't know if there's been a regular season game I've more anticipated than this one here tonight, featuring Tiffany Hayes, someone I don't know. And look, I used to look... In year one and year two, I look forward to the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark battles. But this one here has taken precedent over that. Am I crazy for thinking, hey, this is one of the biggest regular season games for Caitlin Clark in her short 3-year WNBA career? John, I'll let you fire first.
Jason, I definitely, absolutely do not think you're crazy. Just like you stated early on in the show, you stated that, the sports world is kind of down right now. And as of right now, we all could admit the WNBA is very entertaining. Now, this saga that is starting to unfold between Tiffany Hayes and Caitlin Clark is a crazy one. One that unfolded in the last matchup, then carried over online. And so the drama that is leading up to this game is big. Now, the biggest question actually going into this basketball game is, will the Fever let Caitlin Clark play? Because the status report came out last night, and Caitlin Clark is listed again as probable to possibly play tonight. Could this be a little damage control to not have a friction type situation in Golden State? I don't know, but I am super duper excited about this one, Jason. I ain't lying, dog.
Let me get a little towel. I think you just spit on me. Anyway, Maurice, are me and John crazy here?
Well, Whitlock, I do believe you're crazy. Where did you find these clothes? Did you get dressed in the dark? You must have bumped your head. I don't know what is going on.
Maurice, you don't know Morgan Wallen?
I do know Morgan Wallen,
okay.
But Jason Whitlock having a Morgan Wallen wardrobe possibility in his closet is insanity. So from that standpoint, I do believe you're crazy. But when it comes to wanting to see the Clark show, this is must-see TV. I don't care what's going on. Caitlin Clark, box office, must-see television, and with all the hate and jealousy that is clearly permeating throughout this league for her, this has turned into not just a sport, but the best reality show in business. We got a bonehead coach. We got a dinglebat commissioner that has no idea what she's doing. We got a girl that can't even make layups, for Christ's sakes, that thinks she's just as good as Caitlin Clark. We got all of the haters trying to prop up anybody they can to become a rival, a legitimate competitor, even if it means your one shining moment from a player named Tiffany Hayes that averages 5.5 points a game. This is the best reality show in sports, period. You are not crazy for that. I can't wait for the Clark show tonight.
And so, with that being said, I want to turn a bit more serious. Not that I wasn't serious about that, but I have reached the conclusion when Caitlin Clark came out and said, hey, look, I got a little mental issue as it relates to these injuries. I got some hangover from last year and getting beat up and hey, it gets in my head. And that's why she said that she maybe out of being way too cautious missed that game last week. And that to me is an indicator that, like, hey, and I say this affectionately, I mean, like, Caitlin Clark is a little crazy. She is probably on the spectrum a little bit. When you watch her play, she has a hard time controlling her emotions. And I'm not saying this to be hypercritical. I'm just saying it's the reality. Women suffer from anxiety issues. And why wouldn't you have a bunch of anxiety when you're carrying a league financially, doing everything in your power to grow the league and to make it possible for all the other players to make an abundance of money? And then they hate you. They turn around and hate you, abuse you physically. And so it made me, when I heard Caitlin Clark say, like, man, as it relates to these injuries, I got a little mental problem, it made me sympathetic towards Stephanie White and the Fever organization. I think Caitlin Clark is, and not in a super negative way, but there's some difficulty with coaching her because she's under a lot of pressure. She's got anxiety issues. She's got some mental issues as it relates to these injuries. It makes me sympathetic towards Stephanie White and the Fever organization. Maurice, you fire first. Your reaction to that?
I do think Caitlin Clark is a little bit insane, but Michael Jordan was a bit insane. A lot of the greats were a little bit nutty. Now, does that make me more sympathetic towards Stephanie White? Absolutely not. No chance. It doesn't make me more sympathetic toward the Indiana Fever organization. We've watched this organization and this coach complicate this thing much more than it needed to be complicated. We've watched Stephanie White come in here and take an offense that was flowing and want to change it and make Aaliyah Boston a hub and play her at point center. And, Kelsey Mitchell's the number one priority. All of these things, this was an easy gig. You show up, you let Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston handle the offense. You handle the defense. This was an easy job. You got the Indiana Fever. You got the biggest star ever. You are choosing to not put her in the front of promotions. You are choosing to put Raven Johnson on it and all of these other people. So I don't feel sympathetic for them. They've let it be known from the door. When this new front office came in with Kelly Krauskopf and everybody, they wanted the Indiana Fever to become Apple, which means they want this. They don't like Caitlin Clark being bigger than the franchise. They don't like Caitlin Clark being bigger than the league when the fact of the matter is it's just the truth. So they're going to do everything they can to try to lift everyone over her because the Indiana Fever want to be Apple. So I don't sympathize with Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever organization. They got a blessing and they need to handle it as such.
Jon?
Once again, Jason, I can't have any sympathy for him, man, because a lot of that mental illness that you spoke about came from them and their organization. Now, granted, Caitlin Clark was dealing with a bunch of injuries last year, but Stephanie White came in and changed up her whole style of play. Now, I'm not trying to make any excuses for Caitlin Clark getting these injuries, but when you look at how last year actually went, you got to put a lot of the blame on Stephanie White and the Fever front office. Now, do Caitlin Clark, probably go a little extra with talking to the referees, go a little extra with being in the gym? Of course, what great player don't? But at the end of the day, you guys have the biggest star to ever grace the WNBA, and for whatever reason, you're not making her top priority, at least from what we've seen. Now, yesterday, Stephanie White did an interview, and she stated that Caitlin Clark is the first option. That was my first time actually hearing her say that. Now, can that possibly help her mental situation? Maybe, because it'll be hard knowing that you get all of this notoriety worldwide, and in the city and the team you play for, you're not the first option. Do you think LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant has not been the first option? Like, you just don't see that when it comes to great players. Now, as for Stephanie White moving forward, hopefully she can get a wake-up call and understand what she do have in the Fever front office, because as of right now, they is definitely playing a role in that mental illness.
Very quickly, gentlemen. Jon, you first. Give me a score prediction for tonight and point production for Caitlin Clark.
I would say that the Indiana Fever is more than likely going to score over 80 points. So I would say the score will possibly be, let's just say 95-74. I think they're going to go to Golden State. They had a few days off, put the beats on them. I believe Caitlin Clark is going to get 21-7 and possibly 10. That's the stat line I predict tonight.
The Valkyrie had beat I think the Fever 3 straight before beating them last week. I'm not expecting a blowout in front of a sellout crowd with all that energy in Golden State. Maurice, your prediction?
I think my final score is going to be 88-84 Indiana Fever. I think this is going to be a highly competitive game. I think the Valkyries are going to throughout stages of the game show why they are the best defensive team in the league. And what will be interesting is, how do the refs handle this game? It's a lot of talk about everything that went on. You know, you got Natalie Nakos, the head coach of the Valkyries, already speaking about the officials yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see if they try to get a hold of this game and call a lot of Shai Gilgeous type fouls, or if they let them play. That will be interesting. But I got Caitlin Clark, 25 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Indiana Fever, 4-point win on the road.
Yeah, I'm thinking Caitlin's going to drop 30 tonight. Fever win by 3 points or so. It's going to be an awesome game. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.
Thank you, Jesse.
I got to keep it moving. We got to talk about the NBA side of this with Skap, Dre, and Steve Kim. Before I do that, I want to talk with you guys about my cell phone service that I hope you will make your cell phone service, and that is Patriot Mobile. The name says it all. Patriot Mobile. If you are a Patriot, there is no better phone service for you than Patriot Mobile. Even if you're just a borderline Patriot, it's the greatest cell phone service you can have because, one, when you make your monthly payment, part of that money is going to fight for Christian and conservative values. You're going to get great cell phone coverage from all 3 major networks. The data plans are great. Everything about Patriot Mobile is top tier and top class. The icing on the top is that they're part of the Christian conservative movement. I've had a Patriot Mobile phone now for about 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years. It's worked for me phenomenally, and I get the comfort of knowing that my money is supporting a company that believes in what I believe in. Why wouldn't you make the switch? Why wouldn't you? It's easy. You can keep your same phone. You can keep your same cell phone number. It's easy. You can change if you want to, but you can keep all that. It is easy to make the switch. It's spending your money with a company that supports what you believe in. And if you use my promo code, you're going to get a free month of service. So go to patriotmobile.com/fearless or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code fearless for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/fearless. Call 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. We're not going anywhere. Are these guys ready? Are my guys ready? We're just going to keep it rolling today because I'm fired up. And plus, I want to get quickly so Steve Kim can start getting his jokes off because I'm sure I've given him plenty of material. Well, I'm sure you just want to bust on me, Steve, and I'm sure, I'm in a crazy get-up and outfit. Let's put the guys on camera. Oh, Steve, you got no jokes, Steve?
Oh, well, it's clear. You are now Jason Whitlock. You are the whitest black man in America. I have a suggestion. I hate to admit this.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying your segments with the other content creators, the Caitlin Clark connoisseurs. I have a suggestion.
Caplins.
I think it would actually derive a very
Caplins. We're Caplins.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing a live stream during a game, all 3 of you guys, a watch along?
Yeah, we should. We'll have to consider
that. Would actually derive a pretty sizable audience.
Yeah,
just for the Caitlin Clark game, nothing else. Just her, though.
I think Maurice does that already, but maybe
you need to collaborate.
Yeah,
or as the kids say, collab.
Anyway, Steve, do you have a take on what do you think of the fact? I can't believe it, but I've been here for I guess more than a year now, 2 years. I'm more excited about Caitlin Clark versus some woman, Tiffany Hayes, that I couldn't spot in a police lineup than I am Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Do you blame me?
Well, I don't know if I blame you, but you don't have to convince me. I've known this for 3 years that, yes, Caitlin Clark is the center of your life. And I want to tell the audience one time, when you say that you used to be a diehard Ball State football fan, you're not just saying that because you have a diploma from there. I'm going to tell a story. About 5 years ago now, time flies, I was in town, one of my in-studio visits. I've made 2. This was during the football season, and I think we went to the place that it was across the street from where you live, the Dog Pound or the Dog House.
Dog House. Dog House. My buddy Steve Ford.
I lived in Nashville, I'd be there. Okay, so I'd be there every Saturday during college football season because they have a magnificent setup for college football. I'm watching every game, but I saw it firsthand as I'm right next to you. you had your little tablet out, immersed in some Ball State game. You didn't look up for 4 hours. And I said, you really do love your alma mater. But it's been at least 2 years when WNBA games, specifically involving Caitlin Clark, was the number one focus of your life. Now, are you at the level that I am with Miami Hurricanes? Not yet. But in a year or two, I make no promises.
Scap, how much anticipation should I and the rest of the world be having about tonight's OKC San Antonio game? That's part of the reason why I'm more fired up, is because I think I've reached the conclusion, OKC, I agree with you and Dre after you guys beat me up yesterday, that OKC is going to handle San Antonio, and this series is coming to an end tonight. I don't have a lot of great anticipation for what's going to happen tonight.
Well, look, Jason, like I said at the end of the tail end of mine and Dre's co-beatdown of you yesterday, I said that I actually think that the Spurs extend tonight. I think, look, they're 3.5-point favorites at home. Victor Wembanyama, I think, is going to channel some kind of a historic performance tonight, or at least a very elite performance. I think he's going to be more aggressive from the get-go. I think they're going to find ways to get him closer to the basket to start the game. I think he exceeds that all-important 20 field goal attempt number in tonight's game. And look, Jalen Williams likely is going to be out again for the Thunder. AJ Mitchell already announced inactive tonight. So I think on the road, all things considered, I anticipate the Spurs winning. And look, the two greatest words in all of sports language, maybe in the history of recorded spoken language, game and 7, will be set up then after tonight. So look, I am anticipating, I am very excited for tonight's game, Jason. I, for one, we've got 2 of the top 3 players on planet Earth, 2 top 3 MVP finishers, the 2 best teams in the NBA. Well, maybe the Knicks, notwithstanding, obviously. But I think, Jason, me personally, you should be way more excited for this pivotal of a late-stage NBA playoff game than you are for an early regular season WNBA game. Jason, that take is crazier than your damn outfit right now. What am I looking at, right? As someone who champions your costumes and your outfits, bruh, this ain't it. This look is not it. You need to take that thing. What is on your face right now, for the love of God?
The mustache. You don't like my Morgan Wallen look? I mean, Dre, have I lost my black card here as Steve has contended?
I don't even know what Morgan Wallen looks like, so I can't tell you who that's supposed to be. But as far as with what you said about the NBA game, yes, that's crazy. That the WNBA game, I know Caitlin Clark is a box office draw, and obviously there are people excited about her. But this NBA game is the highest level basketball being played. Now, Scap has a good argument that Spurs may play better at home. OKC is out a couple players, and Wemby also didn't talk to reporters after the last game, so maybe he's angry. We'll see an angry Wemby tonight. It could get extended to Game 7, which would make for a great Game 7 this following weekend. I don't think there has been yet in the history of the WNBA a game that was or would be as anticipated as a Game 7 between OKC and San Antonio would be. So have you lost your black card? No, because you did have 2 guests here on the panel who also watched the WNBA. I didn't know it was that many of you, and I guess there are more. But no, you have not lost your black card. Not yet.
That is wild, Steve. Does Dre not know, Steve, that like black dudes love Caitlin Clark? That we are the top capers.
It is a thing that I noticed about 2 years ago. The biggest Caitlin Clark fans are not the white folks. That's the biggest lie. For some reason, because Dre, I'll send you links. There's like 20 dedicated channels, not to the WNBA, but to Miss Clark, and they all look much more like you guys than Scap or I. It's a phenomenon.
20?
And Dre, 20, can we be honest?
Yes, he did say
20. He lost his black card 10 years ago.
Yeah, how many people live in the state of Iowa? 20? Is it more than 20?
No, but I don't think, Dre, they're from Iowa. Do you know where Maurice is from? I don't think he's from Iowa.
No,
but
I'm talking about the Caitlin Clark fans, the white people.
Well, look, do I believe Caitlin Clark has fans that are white? Yes, because if you look at the road games, she brings a lot of people that are of the same complexion. But in terms of the online presence and the coverage that I see, and again, I get it, it's my algorithm because I'm curious about this subject, about the dynamic of it. I would say the most ardent Caitlin Clark fans, again, they look much more like Jason Whitlock than they do Skap.
Interesting.
I'm serious.
I didn't know.
I'm actually shocked, Dre, that you're not a Caitlin Clark fan. You're not a Caitlin Clark fan at all, or you're not into the WNBA at all?
I just like watching high level basketball, and if there's a men's game and a women's game on, then the men's game wins. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, Dre. Good job.
You just avoided the question. You're not a Caitlin Clark fan at all? I mean, Caitlin.
It's not that I'm not a fan of Caitlin Clark. Is that if I want to watch the best basketball, I'm going to be watching men play basketball.
This isn't about watching the best basketball. This is about following the best story in sports. Caitlin Clark is the best story in sports. This is a different version of Jackie Robinson all over again. Except
Jason,
I don't know about that.
Jason, the wig is tight. It's too tight, bro. You got to loosen the hat or something. It's cutting off the oxygen. The best story in sports today is clearly Wemby v. SGA. The whole year has been funneling towards this moment. Spurs, Thunder. Basically, look, the Thunder are the defending champions. They have been the presumptive favorites all year long. But basically, the last 34 games of the regular season, the Spurs ended 30-4 run. 30-4 over the last 34 games. They run through both of these teams, essentially run through the playoffs to get to each other. And like, this is what we've all been waiting. Tonight, it is all crescendoing to this point, game 6 and 7. And I don't even know who Morgan Wallen is. You're dressed up like Morgan Wallen, waiting for Caitlin Clark versus whoever. Come on, Jason.
I just heard two people, because Dre said this as well, like you wouldn't recognize Morgan Wallen. Scott, you don't know Morgan Wallen? Oh, none of the three of you?
No.
Jason, you put Morgan Wallen in a two-man lineup and I can't pick him out. I have no idea. You play me like 5 songs and one of them is his. No, I wouldn't have a hope and a prayer of picking out which song was his.
I have heard some songs. I looked him up and listened to some songs, and there were a few that I liked, but I still would not know what he looks like.
And Dre,
could we put a picture? Can we grab a picture of Morgan Wallen? Go ahead, Steve. Yeah, go ahead,
Dre,
Steve.
to your point, when I started to notice the phenomenon of who was really the most loyal, hardcore Caitlin Clark fans, the leader was Ock Nation, and he does like a nightly thing. You think Jason Whitlock talks a lot about Caitlin Clark? My guy Ock literally does.
This a black guy as well?
Yeah.
Yes, from Washington, D.C. So he's not from Iowa. He's from the D.C. area.
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
So for me, I like commenting on what's happening in the zeitgeist, whatever the conversation is. And anybody looks at my social media feed, that's what I do. Exactly. So I'm actually giving you credit, Jason, because I will engage in a conversation and look into what she's doing and look at the games, because that's part of the ongoing conversation. But if I'm left to my own devices and say, just go watch the best basketball you can find, I'm not going to land on a WNBA game. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, if I was going to watch the best basketball I could find, I would be on YouTube watching games from the 1980s and 90s. And so
that's what I do. I watch Michael Jordan.
Yeah. And so I'm looking for the best story that I can find. And there's no better story than Caitlin Clark and what she's doing for women's basketball and the WNBA. By the way, that's Morgan Wallen. I can't believe y'all don't know who Morgan Wallen is.
Okay.
First of all, y'all don't remember when he got all liquored up? And, Morgan's got a bunch of black friends. He runs around with a lot of brothers. He's got a real popular song with Little Durk, Broadway Girls. Broadway Girls with Little Durk. I mean, he's so tied in with the YNs, quite honestly. And so he got the big controversy when he used the N-word. He was drunk. Y'all don't remember that? They tried to cancel him, and it only made him bigger? No one?
I do have that. That song is on one of my playlists, Broadway Girls featuring Morgan Wallen by Lil Durk. I couldn't tell you. If somebody started playing it, I wouldn't know that's it, but I remember saving it. I see it right here in my playlist.
Yeah. I can't play it. Y'all have distracted me. I'm defending Caitlin Clark and Morgan Wallen. Let's talk about something that I got to get into. Did you see this Stephen A. Smith clip? When you talk about the world going crazy, I'm going to have to spend time on this show defending Stephen A. Smith. Let me do it. Let's play the clip of Stephen A. Smith responding to the Kevin Hart roast, where Kevin Hart cracked the joke that Stephen A. was on the Mount Rushmore of people that hate black people. Let's play the clip.
Kevin Hart made a pointed joke about his personal Mount Rushmore of racism.
There we go.
A list of people he claims hate black people. Alongside Shane Gillis, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Hart included my name. Or at least I thought I had. Pretty damn good relationship with Kevin Hart. It's been on my show on many occasions. He's getting crucified because a lot of people felt like too many jokes at this particular roast was tasteless. My attitude is a roast is a roast. And people are there to be attacked. He's gotten attacked, all of that other stuff. But I'm not going to front and failing to acknowledge that this year has been very, very difficult for me. I've taken a lot of heat because of perceived positions that I may have had. You've had some people from the Democratic Party who don't know that I'm aware of the steps and the lengths that they've been willing to go through to silence me, even though I'm somebody that has religiously voted Democrat. Kevin Hart may have been telling a joke. It may have been the latest tasteless one that he told. I have no issue with the joke if it was a joke. If it wasn't a joke, I still wouldn't have an issue with it. I have an issue with the fact that it came from him. Somebody that I kind of know a little bit, that I got a lot of love and respect for, but that nevertheless still hurts to hear out of the mouth of anyone who knows me. I could respond more vitriolically, but I won't. More incendiary, but I won't. Because Kevin Hart has never once in his lifetime did anything to me that deserves that. And he's too good of a brother and too good of a human being for me to even consider doing something like that. But it stung.
What I find humorous about this, and I'm bending over backwards trying to defend Stephen A. Smith, because look, I get why Stephen A's upset, but what Stephen A's going to have to learn is that no matter how hard he's tried to construct this narrative about himself, that he's MLK 2.0 with a dash of Malcolm X, and he's down for his people, and he talks in a way that he's always trying to sound more black or more authentically black than he actually is. And he's, this whole, I was a high school basketball player, I was a college basketball player, I went to Winston-Salem State. He's constructed everything about his narrative trying to please black people. And he's going to find out, and he is in the process of finding out, that as a black man, particularly that's moved into the political lane, you don't have the freedom to think whatever you want. You're never going to satisfy black culture. And Kevin Hart is a part of black culture. And so I have some sympathy, because what Stephen A. is experiencing is what I've experienced. Doesn't matter how many black people you employ, how many opportunities you create for black people, and it just doesn't matter. But Stephen A., what I would say is, the exact same thing was done to me years ago, and Stephen A. participated in that. And now that they're coming for you, how you like them apples? Anyway, Steve, your thoughts.
Couple things, and I agree with this. Anything that's said at a roast, it's all a roast. It's all fair game. Well, and Stephen A., if you're part of the punchline, which I thought was rather benign, shouldn't that also be fair game and brushed off? The other thought that I really had, though, Jason, is that this is exactly why he was never cut out even to be mentioned as a political candidate. Because if a barb like this is going to make you whimper a little bit, you're not tough enough. You got to have skin like an armadillo. You got to be able to laugh at it, and you got to be able to ignore it, and you got to be able to move on. And the other thing is, you talk about the culture. It's not just enough to agree with them. You have to agree with them every single time. And Jason, I've noticed, especially online in modern media day society, you have to overly pander. Again, it's not just enough to not be racist. You have to be incredibly anti-racist. You get it? So that's the mistake. So Stephen A. Smith can pander 100 times, but that 101st time, if he does not pander to the level that's acceptable, this is what you're going to see.
He needs to put someone texted me the other day about Holly Rowe's Twitter bio where she lists herself as an anti-racist. Stephen A. may need to go to those lengths. Skap, maybe not your area of expertise, but want you to chime in here.
I mean, look, Kevin Hart is a comedian. He tells jokes for a living. He's in, funny movies, and he is like a prolific roaster. He seems to always be a part. He's like on this roast circuit. So, I mean, you realistically can't take anything said in the context of a roast seriously, especially by a professional funny man like Kevin Hart. So I think that was just sad video footage that you showed of Stephen A. Smith complaining and whining about that. I mean, just like Steve Kim just said, learn to take a joke, laugh it off, and just move on. Get on one to the next. Now, Jason, he did also mention, though, Stephen A. in his little monologue there about what a tough year it's been for him overall. So, I mean, obviously, you play a role into that. So maybe you should have focused more on the other people out there that have come for him throughout the year, because I think Kevin Hart, that was a pretty I'd say tame joke overall from some of the things I've seen and heard coming out of these roasts as of late.
All right, so Dre, we've heard from an Asian, a white, myself, but I think you and I perhaps have a different perspective in terms of, like, I get why Stephen A. feels wounded. It's like, that's the joke you want to crack on me, that I hate black people? I get why he's wounded. I do think he's going to have to come to grips with that if he wants to be free intellectually, this is how he's going to be talked about. And Stephen A. needs to remember that, like, hey, Donald Trump had a great relationship somewhat with black people and black celebrities until he ran for president. And then he became the most racist person in the world. Stephen A. keeps flirting with politics and indicating he wants to be a political influencer or a political candidate. This is what comes along with it. He's just got to accept that.
And Donald Trump wasn't even on the list. I thought that would be low-hanging fruit for Kevin Hart to just use Donald Trump right there. Why didn't he use him? I think this is overall content over everything for Stephen A. I mean, he has to fill space on his show, just like everybody else has to fill space on their show. I've never been a fan of the people who hate black people thing, because black people tend to use that kind of as a crutch. Oh, well, these people hate us. And that's, I don't know, is that supposed to be something that brings black people together? These people are hating us. And I don't think any of those people mentioned actually hate black people, none of the white ones. Again, Stephen A. wouldn't even be the easiest choice to put on that list, especially to get widespread attention. And also, I've never been a fan of, even though it's a joke, and I'm not saying it in a super serious way, but I've never been a fan of black people saying another black person hates black people because you're a Republican or you're MAGA or you like Trump or you criticize black people. That's one that, Jason, of course, gets thrown at you all the time. I'm just not a fan of that. You don't like black people because you criticize a black person, but criticism is what comes with, first of all, being a public figure. It also comes with, especially if you're out there doing anything that people could criticize, playing a sport, being a politician, running a business, making tough decisions. Criticism comes as part of the game, and you do have to have thick enough skin where you can just let it go, like a Donald Trump, or that you can laugh at it. Like, you got to be able to do one or the other. So Stephen A. Smith doing this doesn't quite make much sense, other than, again, it filled some space on his show. But other than that, there's no substance here.
Look, criticism is correction. And for those of us that practice Christianity, it's like correction is the strongest sign of love. And that's what you do with a child that you love and care about. You correct them. Hey, don't do this, do that. Hey, you're doing this wrong. Do it this way. Hey, if you continue to do that, these are the consequences, blah, blah, blah. And so, as Black people, we tend to, as a group, not individually, but as a group, we tend to seek affirmation. And we somehow think that affirmation is the greatest sign of love. That runs totally counter to the Bible. And so I think it runs totally counter to truth, but, it doesn't play well. Correction and or the thoughts I just expressed don't play well over social media. And so people are reluctant to take that position or support that position because, social media totally disagrees. And we're all just out chasing likes. And if we don't get enough likes, that means you hate us. And, it's like somewhat me looking for affirmation on my eating habits. That's a stupid thing for me to be looking for affirmation on. But anyway, I'm going to stop there as it relates to that. And I want to bring in a more lighthearted topic for us to end this with. And I want to bring Shaun King's already here. Can we bring Shaun King into there we go. We can bring Shaun King into the conversation. Have y'all seen the video of someone I'm calling Baby Whitlock spots a barbecue in his neighborhood and says, "Hey man, can I get some of that?" Let's play the clip.
I ain't trying to be rude though, but you still grilling?
Nah, we done now.
Oh, y'all just finished today?
Yeah.
Y'all got some leftovers?
Nah, we ain't even ate yet.
Oh, it's almost done.
What you need, man?
I'm trying to get some food. I saw y'all grill up. I was like, y'all grilling?
Chocolates. Do you like? It's not grilling, but do you like Cheeto Puffs?
Yeah.
You like Cheetos? Okay. Here you go, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Okay.
Okay.
I got you next time, man.
Okay.
I got you next time, all right?
Be safe, Jacquez.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
The biggest thing I would complain about in that video is that his mama named him Jacquez. Other than that, I find it kind of harmless and humorous. Can't say that I would have done that as a kid, but I can't say that I wouldn't have done that. And I certainly grew up in a time when, if you were cooking and your friends in the neighborhood heard about it and came over, and my mother used to make this thing called pizza casserole. It's one of the greatest things that's ever been made in a kitchen. And all of our friends, Mama Whitlock made pizza casserole. Can we come over? So I don't know. Good look, bad look, no look. Steve, your thoughts here.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome to the show my fellow boxing analyst, Shaun King. Hope you're doing well. A couple things. Number one, I'm actually surprised you just didn't admit you've done it, Jason. But I have a question. Do you think it would be a bigger story? Because judging by the voices, that looked like a black couple, right?
No,
that answered the door.
no. I'm glad you went there. It was a black man and a white woman. But go ahead, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My ears are tuned for just that.
Yeah, you got the radar. It's built in.
I got you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Since the man is black and he's the head of the household, it's okay. They're good. They are good. But I will say this, and I want to ask everyone the question. If that was a white and white couple, do you think they would have been guilted? They'll have the white guilt to have give this kid a couple of ribs. Because that's what I think.
Anybody? Anybody want to address that question or have
it depends on where you're at. Depends on the location that maybe they might have given it to him. I don't think it would have been based on race. I think just depending on the neighborhood, if they actually had food. Me as a natural salesperson, I'm an entrepreneur. That kid has the balls to go sell and ask for the sale was the most important part of closing the deal. So as long as that skill is cultivated properly, he's in a good space at a young age.
First of all, hold on. First of all, Jason, you look ridiculous.
Of course. Do you
Dre, that's a whole lot of gray that you got on over there. I mean, good. Can we get some contrast? Like, listen, he needs the Michael Irvin. He needs belt to butt. Like his parents, like, my child is in the neighborhood begging for food. Like, you're the one that champions like lack of parenting all the time. Like, where are his parents? And he looked like when he got that bag, when he finally like pleaded like his case and they finally gave in and gave him something, he had that look right when he left. I'll be back.
Oh, he's a cat that got fed. Yes. You feed a cat, it's hard to get him off your porch. I do want to stand corrected. Justin has sent me, that is a black woman. That was a black couple. Steve, you were correct. That's a black man and a black woman. She just has a very suburban voice.
Sounded very proper.
And Shaun,
Yes.
to your point then, do you think there's a father in his home?
See, me and Jason kicked me off the show for 2 weeks about this black father thing. So I'm gonna plead the fifth.
I did.
I got a DM. They said Whitlock was the first person to filibuster a podcast like for 2 weeks because of this conversation. So I'm gonna leave it alone.
Oh, you chickened out.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, the kid, well, he may look at that house as a meal ticket coming back. He probably doesn't have both parents at home or not a lot of food at home. So he came there knocking on the door, assuming that this is all real. And Shaun, since you did mention me, when you first got on camera, I said, is that Suge Knight? You got the ring, you got the jewelry, you got the cigar. You kind of look like him. But okay.
Appreciate the shout out, dog. One of the most successful businessmen in the history of entertainment. I could be compared to worse.
Speaking of business, you got to sell. So that kid went to the door and sold.
Very successful businessman who's spending his latter years in prison. Scap. Scap, you got a thought here?
Jason, I'm aligned with Dre. It seems like Dre and I have been on a run. Other than the Kobe LeBron topic, we just need to veer away from that. We're on the same page mostly on all these takes because not only did that kid ask for the business right up front, he overcame the objection. Oh, you guys put the grill away? Maybe you might have some leftovers. Can I have some leftovers? And in case no leftovers, I'll take the Cheetos bag. He kept going. That's a tenacious future businessman right there.
Listen,
I think Jacques Wes.
I don't want to be presumptuous. Jay or Dre, do y'all have children?
Yes.
Okay, if your child was in the neighborhood soliciting leftover cookout plates,
yeah, that wouldn't happen.
As a father, like that would. This is an issue. One, you're not feeding your child. Second, your child's embarrassing you.
I agree.
I'll give you that, Shaun.
If another kid came to my door and I could tell he had missed some meals, maybe he had. I would give him some food from my kitchen.
Quez ain't missed a meal like I haven't missed a meal. Like Jason hasn't missed a meal.
Jacquez, get the name right. It's Jacquez.
I don't want that's just Jacquez. Like just Quez is good.
Yeah, Quez.
I would. Are we making the assumption? I would think that there is no father. Seriously,
Shaun.
Because again, if you have a father and you're sitting there thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," and my dad may get questioned about it at some point in the neighborhood, that would be embarrassing, and you just wouldn't do it. I think this is a mama's boy, a little bit soft, and a little bit aggressive here. But again, we don't know the flavor of the neighborhood in terms of maybe.
I'll tell you.
Go,
Jason. I'll tell you what I think happens. I think this happens in Miami often. Kids who are not from the area, let's say where I'm at, they come to the area because they know there are people there who have money and they sell their candy, ask for donations, etc. I don't think that kid's from the neighborhood of the house where he was knocking on the door. He saw the grill, he smelled it, and he said, "Let me just take my shot here while I'm here." And now he can mark that as a place he can come back to.
No. You talk about entrepreneurial spirit. The kids in Miami, they have a plan, Dre. This is a planned attack. When they go to a suburban neighborhood, they are put in a car. They get out of said car. They are going for a purpose. They're not randomly walking up the sideline. Ooh, I smell barbecue. Let me go knock on the door, see if they got a plate. No, they are trying to either they got a uniform participation form saying they're playing basketball. Can you donate to their basketball league?
Yes.
Or they got some candy. Like they are there for a purpose. That's entrepreneurial. Buddy was walking down the sidewalk and actually smelled some barbecue and said, "Let me go and see what can happen."
Here's my new theory.
It smells of young Whitlock. Can you not see young Whitlock back in Gary,
Whitlock.
Indiana, Muncie, Indiana, not being Jaquez?
No. But here's my new thought. I like the theory that he's not from this neighborhood. This is a kid who's been dropped off at his auntie's house or his cousin's house. And it's like, didn't this happen this past weekend? I'm assuming Memorial Day weekend. And so he's over at his cousin's house. They're not barbecuing. And he's like, man, I thought we was coming over here for a barbecue. And I'm dealing with SpaghettiOs and blah, blah, blah. And he looks around. This is a nice neighborhood. And spots the family that's in the backyard cooking and says, man, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to see if I can grab me a plate. Huh? I'm sorry. I can't. Let me take this earpiece out. I can't hear you, Peyton. What? Oh, they did. They called him Jaquez. So they knew him. Holy cow. Yeah. They knew Jaquez. He's from the neighborhood. And now
listen to the dad, though. Listen to the dad. The dad was pushing the kid off. He was like, nah, we don't have anything else. It was the mom whose soft spot got hit. She's the one that gave him the bag of Cheetos.
The mom is kind of fine, too. And so I could see the child, he's probably scoped her out before in the neighborhood. And so he's sitting there thinking there's maybe a soft touch over here and I can flirt a little bit.
Gosh.
But the dog,
I didn't see what they look like. You have a visual?
The picture? Do we have a visual?
I didn't see the family.
Yeah, can we put the picture up of the lady and the child, Luke? It's in our text thread. Can we grab that? Yeah, we'll need a second here. Hold on. Justin, turn your mic on and set the record straight here. They asked him what his name was. Oh, Justin, they asked him what his name was. That's how they knew the name Peyton, Inspector Clouseau. So again, I go back to my theory that he may not have been in his own neighborhood, disappointed with what his cousins or aunties and whatever was cooking, and was like, man, let me go see if I can get me a Memorial Day plate from the people that got it going on. Yeah.
In your own neighborhood, it's, hey, Mr. Jenkins, Mrs. Jenkins, hey, may I have, like, them. He didn't know them. He was just knocking on the door. That was random.
Anybody got a final? We got Justin. Have I forgotten anything else? You got any other clarity you can provide?
Yeah. So first of all, they didn't know the kid. He came, he just came there. So, another thing also on our Instagram, the lady's Instagram, if we ever pull the photo, she doesn't have a husband. I don't know if it's a boyfriend or something, but yeah, that's it.
This is getting more intriguing. I told you she's kind of fine, and
is it like Miss Parker, Jason? Can you give us a Miss Parker scale? Where is she from? Whatever you're looking at compared to Miss Parker.
Hold on, Miss Parker. Let me. Am I forget? Parker. Who are we talking about? Who's Miss Parker?
The movie Friday.
Oh, the movie Friday. Oh, my bad. All right, you threw me off. I'm thinking of Candace. Look, this is an attractive woman. She may be some sort of Caribbean, Haitian or something or whatever. Big smile on her face. Looks to be about 128, 130 pounds. Beautiful smile. Luke, I'm killing time, Luke, to grab this picture. Maybe we're not going to get it because I gotta let y'all go. And there's a couple.
Jason, you know what? I smell A block tomorrow. Follow up on this story in the A block.
And if that woman's not married, then whose house is it? It must be the woman's house, and she's giving away the food. Then maybe the man was just trying to get rid of that kid so he can get back to business.
Get the business.
Yeah,
the dessert.
He did say, "Nah, we ain't done yet." There we go. There's the young lady. I'm
nice.
The man was just trying to get rid of the kid. That was a distraction.
Right.
Yeah, that was interrupting
Is
his
that
Memorial Day
Jaquez
week.
in the picture now?
Yeah, that's Jaquez. Yeah.
Hey Jay.
Yeah.
They got a life partner after they gave that bag of chips. Back every day, dog.
Right.
That is a cat. All right, I gotta let y'all go, and Shaun King and I got a couple things to talk about before I get to the Harmony Channel. I'm running a little bit out of time. Shaun, I want to play you Matt Stafford talking about Ty Simpson. That was a controversy. Matt Stafford, I believe, was on this Pat McAfee thing last night and got asked about Ty Simpson. Let's play the clip.
You leading up to the draft, the Ty Simpson situation was kind of what everyone was talking about, and then a lot of people were shocked on draft night when the Rams did select, and we talked to Les Snead not too long after, and he kind of said, hey, that whole thing got overblown a little bit by the media, but what has the communication between you and Ty been, and have you talked to him much since he got drafted?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in there with him, in the meeting room on the practice field, trying to share as much knowledge as I can. Listen, I was a big fan of Ty when he was playing at Alabama. I sent him a text after, he got drafted and said, really enjoyed watching you play. Just you were in the wrong jersey. You weren't a dog. So, but no, I did enjoy watching him play. He's a talented kid. I'm going to do everything I can to get this team ready to play, to win. But at the same time, share some of the knowledge that I've gained throughout my career, because I wouldn't be in the seat that I am right now talking to you guys after a really good football season, and if I didn't have people that were helping me out along the way too. So I'm happy to do that. But he's been a sponge, man. He's looking to get better, and really that's everybody on our team, all the young guys that we picked.
You buy that, Shaun? He's not disappointed they didn't get some talent that could help him win this season?
I'm not buying it. Like when Brett Favre was in Green Bay and they drafted Aaron Rodgers, he didn't like it. When Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, they drafted Jordan Love, he didn't like it. Matthew Stafford doesn't like it. But I don't expect him to come out and be adversarial or like to have an opinion that's not publicly accepted, because that's not his personality. Like this is, if I'm not mistaken, didn't his wife say she liked the backup quarterback? Like more than him, come on, bro.
Hold on. Wasn't that in college or something?
Right. Yeah, she said she dated Matt initially to make the backup quarterback jealous. If I'm not mistaken, So.
There is a bit of history there, huh?
Right. I wouldn't expect him to come out and say, screw Les Snead. We could have drafted somebody to help us win a championship.
All right. Here's another quarterback situation. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, they seem to be having different perspectives on what's going on in their relationship. Let's play the clip.
It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him, obviously I feel like, I've played 7 years now, going on 8, so I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know, we both want what's best for the team.
Been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that, so it's been good.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness like between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
I think JJ was a bit more honest than Kyler Murray. Your thoughts?
I think it's two guys that are at completely different points in their career. JJ's being honest because he don't know any better. Kyler's being dishonest because he now, through failure, understands what a privilege and blessing it is to actually be in the league. Remember, Kyler Murray's the guy after a terrible playoff loss. I think it was to Matthew Stafford and the Rams, where he played awful. He scrubbed his social media accounts of all Arizona Cardinals stuff, and he kind of backed the GM into a corner, and the GM acquiesced and gave him a long-term deal, and Kyler Murray hadn't been very good since. JJ's still on a rookie deal. He's seen this happen once with Sam Darnold, even though it was because he got injured. So he's like, yo, this is my spot, dog. You moved into the neighborhood. No, you can't come and hang out by the pool with me. But I'm not going to have my dog, use the bathroom on your lawn. What I'm saying? JJ's being honest. Kyler knows. Vikings probably are the only reason he's in the National Football League. Because if not for Minnesota's need for a quarterback, where was Kyler Murray going?
I kind of see blame on both sides. JJ McCarthy, I don't think should have been that honest. And again, that's a terrible thing to say, but I just don't think he should have been that honest. And I'm not sure if Well, I can't blame Kyler for covering it up and trying to put a happy face on it. And you're right, he has been humbled. And so if I had to say, if I was going to point a finger and say one guy's in the wrong, I'd say it's J.J. McCarthy. I know he's young, but he's got to be smarter than that, no?
No, why? You're trying to take my job. Why do I got to publicly say we're friends? We're not friends. You came here because you think that I'm a weak spot. I'm a point of reference to your continuing to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I have every right to look at that from an adversarial prism. Like, I'm just like this, we got to be cool publicly. Like, you came to take my job. I didn't say I dislike him. I was honest. I say we in the same room. We sit on different sides. Only thing that JJ didn't say that I thought he should have said, because I coached him at IMG, was we competing. We both want the same thing.
Well, JJ's answer leads to more questions, where Kyler's answer leads to no questions. Now this is something that's going to be monitored and talked about, and there will be follow-up questions about their relationship, where Kyler gave an answer that kind of puts it to bed, and no one's asking the kind of questions that are going to come now because of JJ.
An athlete being honest is such a breath of fresh air. Like, you know how I live, Jason. The truth doesn't have emotions. It's just the truth. Like, we big boys. That's the truth. You ask me a question. We're in the same room. We sit on opposite sides of the room. I didn't say I dislike Kyler, but we're in a real competition. I am on the third year of a rookie deal. It is so important that I win this competition and I play well, because now what happens? All the guys before me got big-time extensions after year 3 or during year 3. So, like, I'm playing for a $50 million a year contract. In reality, that's what JJ's playing for. And he wasn't at Michigan during NIL. So he was right before the NIL hit college football. So JJ's family is a good middle-class family, but he didn't come with a couple million in the bank from Michigan with NIL. He was right before that.
If I'm the head coach, I'm sitting there like, man, JJ, you there's questions I'm going to get asked now that if you had given a different answer, I wouldn't be getting asked. And again, you're the head coach. It's not a huge headache, but it is just like, hey, you made it a little bit more difficult for me. And not that that'll have anything to do with the decision making. I don't think you can win with either one of these guys. I think Kyler Murray's already proven that, he's going to put up some nice highlights. You'll win some games maybe you're not supposed to, but you'll lose some games you're supposed to win. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's any good. And this is kind of much ado about nothing.
I think J.J. McCarthy is in the running for comeback player of the year. I really do. The one thing about JJ is...
Don't you have to be something in order to come back?
The one thing about the kid, he has like less than, I want to say 11 starts. He's got to stay healthy, first of all. He's always been injured. Sam Darnold was his backup. Sam Darnold became the starter, remember, because JJ tore his ACL. Last year, remember, Minnesota was trotting out like 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks because JJ got hurt, Carson Wentz got hurt. They're about to bring Josh McCown out of retirement at one point. Like, he has to stay healthy, but he's talented. I'm just telling you, he's talented. I would not be surprised if he has a big year because they got the pieces. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, like, they have the pieces. If the quarterback plays at a slightly above average level, to be really good offensively.
All right, this last part is a segue into the harmony discussion I'm about to have with James Fishback. He's running for governor in Florida. Shaun, he taped this piggybacks off of what you referenced earlier about our previous conversation. I want to play the clip of James Fishback talking about team takeovers, and I think he's doing this from Tampa, an area you're quite familiar with. But James Fishback is running for governor opposite Byron Donalds, and they've been having teen takeover problems like a lot of major cities have. Luke, let's play that clip.
What happened here on Friday night was a riot. We are not going to be able to address this issue because we're denying what it truly is. It's quite fitting that members of the media, including some here today, had no issue calling the events of January 6th a violent insurrection, when in fact no one was charged with insurrection. One thing that we have to confront is that black youth violence is a problem in Florida. The truth of the matter is that the group here on Friday night was almost exclusively young and black. There's something to be said about the root causes that lead a 12-year-old who was arrested here on Friday night to riot without parental supervision. 72% of black kids born today will be born to an unmarried mother. I'm here to announce 3 policies that would take effect immediately if I were governor. We will be charging anyone who participates in a so-called teen takeover with Florida State Statute 870-01, a third-degree felony of rioting. I'm also going to instruct state attorneys, including right here in the 13th Judicial Circuit, to make it so that any teen who is charged with aggravated rioting is charged as an adult. Number 2, we're going to stand up a social media youth disruption unit tasked by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in my first month as governor to lawfully and constitutionally monitor incitement and threats of riots like the one took place here, to disrupt them before they begin, and that includes me as governor activating the Florida National Guard. And number 3, what I'm going to direct the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to do is to convene a 5-person panel of law enforcement, business leaders, and most importantly, our church leaders to look at the root causes of black youth crime and to prepare a report to give to me as the governor within my first 90 days. There are real opportunity gaps in low-income communities here in Tampa. There's no doubting that. But an opportunity gap is not an excuse to riot. To the youth that were here on Friday night, let me make a very clear warning. Rioting has a 3-year statute of limitation. If I see a single kid from here on out participating in a so-called teenage takeover from the time that I am sworn in as governor, I will retroactively have the state attorney's office charge you with rioting, and we are going to throw the book at you. You have been warned. We have 3 years to charge you, and we can definitely charge you over the next 8 months.
So I play that clip, and I'll have the conversation with James Fishback on the Harmony channel here shortly, is that there's a conversation that is being had across America about fatherlessness, matriarchal culture, the destruction of the black family structure that's creating all of these problems. And people like James Fishback are discussing it, and I think appropriately discussing it. People don't like it when I discuss it. Well, eventually it's going to be completely out of my hands because this group, James Fishback, I believe, is in his 30s, 40s at the oldest. There's a younger generation of white guys and white women that are going to discuss these issues, whether we want to discuss it or not. And there are complications from the matriarchal culture, this woman-led culture that we want to be in denial of, and it's unhealthy, Shaun. Your reaction?
What's the guy's name?
James Fishback.
No, the guy that was speaking.
James Fishback.
He has no chance to win. He should get a tailor, stylist. It looks like he shops at Men's Warehouse. Florida is as black and brown as it's ever been. Like, he's speaking in Tampa. Like, that's a black and brown city now. So, I mean, him isolating one particular group of individuals, like, if we look around the country, this is going on everywhere. This isn't a Florida problem, right?
Well,
like,
he's not trying to run the country. He's trying to run Florida.
I understand that, but he's attacking one particular group of individuals.
Why do you consider it an attack? Why do you consider?
Because he said, I don't want to misquote it. What was his exact words? This is a young black male problem. Is that how he worded it?
I don't think that's how he worded it, but something similar to look, there's a particular problem.
No, he said black.
Yeah, I know I'm about to say it. There's a particular problem where 72% of black kids are being born into families with no father. There's a fatherlessness problem. I don't think that's an attack. I think that's a statement of fact, and it's a spelling out of a problem that needs to be addressed.
Well, you know, me and you fundamentally agree on the black fatherless thing. Like, that's an issue. You did a whole show follow-up without me on it, reacting, because you said I triggered you. So, like, you know, we disagree, like, on a baseline opinion about that particular topic. To him, it seems misguided. Like, I'm from Florida. I live in Vegas. I still have a Florida driver's license. I registered in Florida. I'm non-party. I'm not Democrat, Republican. Like, I'm a man of the people. So I am involved with the people. There's a problem in Florida with youth crime. It's not a cultural thing. There's many white kids getting in trouble in Florida as there are Hispanic kids, as there are black kids. Like, it's a generational thing. They're being raised in a different America than me and you were raised in. Morality is at an all-time low in our country. Like, the consequences for bad decisions, I think the sensitivity to that is non-existent. But I don't think you can isolate one culture and attack that culture and, like, come up with all of these, like, I'm going to do this towards this particular group of people when it's bigger than that.
It's, again, James Fishback's arguing, and then we don't have to speculate. What I'm arguing that I think James Fishback believes is, like, it's a fatherless problem. That it's
we disagree there. You know that.
That it's raising developing kids is a two-parent job and assignment. That the collapse of marriages leads to the problems with young people. It's not a skin color thing. It's a rejection of marriage thing. And so that's what James Fishback, I believe, others believe. A lot of people that are devout Christians either believe it or should believe it. And that conversation's going to go on whether people want to say, well, it's everybody's problem. Well, no, Asians, I think like 8% of their kids grow up in families that are divorced or destroyed or, you know, no father in the home. And the Asians are the most successful people in America. And so there are people that believe that, like, two parents in marriage solve a lot of these problems that opening up after school activities don't solve.
I would argue, without having the data in front of me, and I know you're an analytical person when it comes to this, like, you look at the numbers. Is there a culture in America that has a lower divorce rate in 2026 than they had in 2016? Like, in the last decade, divorces increased in every culture, if I'm not mistaken.
I got it. I got a kid here. I'm looking at Peyton. Peyton, what do you weigh, 175 pounds? So Peyton weighs 175 pounds. Next year, he may weigh 180 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He'll still have far less of a problem than I have. And so you're right. Everyone's gaining weight, but there's a group that's more overweight than everybody else and is in, like, hey, if the Asians, if it ticks up 1% and it goes to 9%, they still have less of a problem than if it went from 72% to 73% for black people. It's do you believe in marriage? Do you believe in the nuclear family? Do you believe in God's design for a family, or you don't? And there are people that don't.
The Bible says you shouldn't have sex before marriage. And a lot of people misinterpret what that means. That means if you've only had one partner in your life, guess what? You have nothing to compare those experiences to. So there's sustainability in the physical form of marriage, right? Like the vows say, till death do us part, sickness and health, right? Like if you're from the Christian faith, like those vows have meaning. Like the word of God has meaning. But I mean, if we're being real, people just not willing to go through the fire with partners in 2000. Like it just is what it is. Like marriage is, divorce is an easy out for a lot of people.
I got it. And there's certain demographics that take that easy out more than Asians, more than white people, more than Hispanics. And then there are consequences to that.
There are less black kids that are born into actual married situations.
Yes.
Like there are a lot of black kids that are born into like, that's my mom, that's my dad. They were never married.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So I think absolutely. It is.
Carriage before marriage is a problem.
If you're a Christian, it's not how it was ordained to be. It's not how the institution of marriage was supposed to exist.
Yeah, it's not healthy. When you disobey, like, hey, God says you should do this, and you choose, hey, God says you shouldn't be gluttonous. Well, Jason, you're going to be overweight, and there's complications from that. And if people say, hey, Jason, you should lose weight, I should say, yes, you're right, rather than, well, there's another way to skin the cat, and I've just chosen to go through life fat. I don't do that. Now, I struggle. It's a problem for me, clearly. But, we don't have to lie about the consequences of, like, if you're going to have kids outside of marriage in great numbers or in small numbers, there's going to be complications from that. And he's pointing out teen takeovers and just the chaos, the lack of academic achievement. You can go just all down the list. The incarceration rates, regardless of skin color, it's a bunch of people primarily who come from broken homes. That's who gets incarcerated. Doesn't matter what color you are. You come from a broken home, you're far more likely to end up incarcerated.
I would agree with that. But I do think there are a larger portion of actual fathers, not husbands, fathers that are involved in the lives of their young, let's just take the boys, involved in the life of their boys than there was 10 years ago. I truly believe that, just based on what I experience and what I see.
Let's say I'm not even in disagreement with that. I'm not. But it doesn't produce the same results as people that are married and a father living inside the home. We've reduced it to intramural activities or coaching activities and all that. And we place a great importance on that because television and the media and social media loves to accentuate and show that. But a father actually being in the home has far more impact than a father being on the coaching field.
Very true. And listen, I'm an extremist when it comes to this. Like, I would not be against America saying, you can't have children if you're not married and you're not at a certain economic level. Like kids need two parents and kids need money. Like it is expensive to raise a child in 2026. Like, so there are certain things where I feel like you're absolutely 100% correct. Like a kid does deserve to come into a two-parent household. A kid does deserve to come into a household that has the economic wherewithal to be able to afford that kid.
It's not economics though. And it's not an afford thing. You can be broke as a joke and raise good kids.
But it's super stressful and super hard.
No, here's what's really stressful for the kid. It may be stressful for the adult, but what's stressful for a kid is growing up in the ghetto or growing up in some area where your father, the man of the house, isn't there. A father actually brings peace to a home and safety and security. A wife, a child, like, oh, I got a man in the house. Oh, I heard a sound outside my house. I'm less scared because I have a man here who's going to take care of that. All these anxiety issues that young people are experiencing, a lot of it comes from not having a man in the house and a proper relationship with a father, and just things are out of order. And so there's more anxiety. And then by the time we have this culture that reflects baby mama matriarchal culture, all the music with the negativity that celebrates, all the name calling. People are more apt to say MF than they are to say human being or brother or any of these other stuff. There's just so many complications that we're fooling ourselves if we think that AAU basketball coaching or Pee Wee football coaching or Pee Wee baseball coaching is a good replacement for a father being in the home.
Let me ask you a question, Jason.
Yeah.
How many kids you got?
None.
All right. So a father that's present is better than a father that's absent. In a perfect situation, it would be a husband and wife that the kid gets to see every day and learns how to treat a woman based on how his dad treats the mom, and how to treat a woman should treat him because of how his mom treats his dad. Like in a perfect situation, yeah. But the father being present is better than the father being absent in whatever capacity that is. Because sometimes a marriage could be a thing that takes away from the kid's well-being. If the kid comes home and they are beefing every day and they're arguing and fighting, that's not healthy for the child. So just to attach like this broad thing, like a kid can't be successful in life if he didn't.
No one said that. My parents were divorced.
Right.
No one said that a kid can't be. But the data is obvious.
You're kind of saying that.
No, I'm not.
You're kind of saying a kid that's not raised in a household with a mother and a father, preferably mom.
Here's what I'm saying.
Husband, wife.
Let me clarify.
So clear it up for me.
Yeah, here's what I'm saying.
I don't
you
want to
take 100 kids.
Okay.
And 100 of them are raised in a two-parent household, and you take 100 kids raised in a single-parent household. More of the ones raised in the two-parent household are going to be successful academically, have less behavioral issues, have just be better kids overall. Like, let's say 68% of that 100 is going to be some sort of success story. Over here with the single-parent deal, I think 32% are going to be successful. There will be some of that 100 that will be successful and blah, blah, move up, but a lesser percentage, fewer of them. And that's what we're seeing. My parents divorced. And so for mostly I was in my mother's household from age 5 until 17. And parents were married for the first 5 years. My senior year of high school, I lived with my dad, blah, blah, blah. You know, me and my brother, relatively successful. Never been incarcerated, college educated, successful financially. We're the aberration. I got a bunch of family that grew up in a similar situation to me, single parent household. The numbers are overwhelming. All kinds of problems, drugs, incarceration.
I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Yeah.
But shout out to all the single parents out there, especially the black men that are out there raising their babies without a mother figure. Shout out to all the single black women out there raising their babies without a male figure in the house. And shout out to the divorced people that are co-parenting at a high level. Like sometimes we got to acknowledge the good and not always speak to the bottom, the low denominator. Like, and I get it.
Why not affirm?
In a perfect world, everybody would be married.
No,
and
it's
all
not
the kids would be raised.
But why not affirm? Hey, why wasn't one of your affirmations? Hey, shout out to the married Willie Clark. Shout out to the married people as well.
Absolutely.
They 100%. Should get the biggest shout out. They're doing the best job.
Absolutely. 100%.
Anyway, I got to go to James Fishback. Shaun, thank you for the conversation.
That mustache.
That was the intent.
It's diabolical, dog. Yeah. That is a cold look you got going.
Morgan Wallen.
Hopefully get a movie role. Hopefully there's somebody in Hollywood.
Do you know Morgan Wallen? The three guys I had on, Dre, Skap, and Steve, they don't even know Morgan Wallen is. Do you know who Morgan Wallen is?
Yeah, man. Morgan Wallen, part of the culture, dog. He friends with every rapper like in America.
I told you. Yeah, told you. All right. I got to go. Right. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be on the Harmony Channel with James Fishback, who's running for governor in Florida. We'll carry on the conversation Shaun and I just had. Thank you. That's all. We'll see you tomorrow here on Fearless.